So hi guys.
Hello.
First of all, I'd like to start with Oliver, and I'd like to ask you, what was the spark for the idea of Wedding Season? That it's a murder mystery rom-com series. Did it ever happen to you to object to a wedding?
No, not yet. I'm actually getting married in October, so I hope that doesn't happen.
I'll object to the wedding. That's what I'll do. Yeah,
just to keep
in a nice reference to the show. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's a bit of publicity.
Yeah. I'll drive in a learner's car, beating the horn, roll down the window.
So yeah, no, never objected myself, but I did once. I remember going to an ex-girlfriend's wedding and joking that I wanted to wear a t-shirt that said "the one that got away." Yeah, no, it just came out of a period of going to a lot of weddings and you know, hen do's and stag do's and things like that, and you know, it just felt like an interesting time of life to kind of dig into, both from a kind of romantic point of view, but also a friendship point of view. But also the show came about from me loving kind of romantic comedies, but also often finding that falling in love in a romantic comedy is often quite sort of cozy and warm and comforting. And for me, falling in love has always been something that makes me sweaty and feel nauseous and anxious and terrified and things like that. And kind of looking for how to do a rom-com that made you feel like that. And that's where the idea of sort of mixing together the rom-com and the action thriller came from, really.
And so, Gavin, how much Stefan belongs to Gavin? And if not, how much did he learn from you, or vice versa?
I probably wish I wasn't as much like Stefan as I unfortunately probably am in how I react to danger and perspire. And but he's such a wonderful role to play, and I think he is actually the sort of, I know he's a hopeless romantic, but he's very sincere and he's very hopeful. I think that's a really nice quality to have. And maybe I can be a bit pessimistic about things, and I think he's much more optimistic. And so that was nice to kind of get to play that character and probably have a bit of that rub off on me, which was fun. But yeah, it's just such a joy to get to play a role like this, because it is a character that I seem to just kind of connect to instantly when I read it. I don't know, it doesn't really come along very often when you read something and you can't really put it into words, but you just know you can play it. You know you're the right person for it. I don't know why, but I think that's what happened when I read the script, and you know, it's one of those parts where you get to play comedy, you get to play action, do your own stunts, and then have these incredible kind of really weighty, dramatic moments as well. And so it's just a perfect role in that sense.
Do you think that Stefan can be in some way, somehow, a kind of model or a hero for us? Because well, today we usually tend to put reason before instinct, no? And Stefan stands straight with his nature of romantic, genuine person, and he follows his instinct. So he pays a price, of course, but can he be a model or a hero?
I think so. I think he's not, your typical character, and also, to have the male character be the one who really wants to get married and wants the commitment in the family, and I think that's a really nice quality. And that what Ollie does, I think, in the script a lot of the time, he always kind of subverts the expectation, and it's almost the flipped, the kind of in kind of reverse of the usual sort of stereotypes. She's the action star in it. She's the one who can stand up to people and fight a way out of a situation, and he's more cautious, and I think that's really nice. But I think it's true. I think he's very again, he's got a big heart to him, and he's got a big capacity for. He makes the wrong decisions, and he's a bit of a, he messes things up quite a bit, but he perseveres. And I think that's probably, one of the best qualities to take away, particularly in the pursuit of love. I think you've got to, go through a a ring of fire or something, you know, you got to jump off a couple of buildings, you got to get punched in the head a couple of times, you know, if you really, you know, if you really want the real thing.
Oliver, for you, Stefan can be a hero?
Yeah, I think so. He's got that line in the first episode where he talks about how one of the things he loves about weddings is that it's an act of bravery, that it's people sort of standing up in front of everyone that they know and sort of putting their faith in each other, even though, you know, half of marriages end in divorce or whatever. And I think he's sort of got the right, and I think over the show he sort of grows into himself and he becomes a bit braver and a bit sort of a bit more heroic, but also sort of learning. I think he's a character to begin with that has quite a sort of black and white sense of morality, and what Katie does is sort of challenge that and kind of makes him go, actually everything you thought was wrong.
Yeah, and your expectation or your idealized version of somebody, that's not a real relationship. It's got to be, you know, what the actual person is. You've got to love everything about them. You've got to, or at least be able to live with it.
Right, yeah.
You know, all of their faults and all of the the rights and the wrongs and things they do.
Thank you very much for your time and for your kindness.
Thank you very much.